Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Esports podcast. I'm your host, William, and with me I still have Brock, still with
Hello.
me.
Really?
And tonight we have a quick episode. We are talking about the LMS, and the
Hmm.
LMS is still one of the Power 5 regions. It's the smallest of the Power 5 regions with only 8 teams and the fewest amount of games. So
Thank you.
So it's actually not bad to watch, I think. It's only 3 days. It's unlike the LPL, which is 6, and the LCK, which is 5. But anyway, we can jump right into the our preseason picks for the LMS this year. We can starting with number one. We both have Mad Team winning it all. I think we both think that Mad Team is going to win it all this year. They made it to Worlds last year as the number 2 seed out of coming out of LMS. They didn't look terrible in the sense. I know they went 0-6. Before I say that, I understand they went 0-6 against Liquid, KT, and Ever Gaming. But one, KT and Ever Gaming, pretty good teams. They made it out of groups, obviously. Liquid also, I still not biased at all by my hat or my sweatshirt I've been wearing. That I think Liquid's a pretty solid team. So 0-6 wasn't like out of the question for them. I feel like they have brought back their entire team where a lot of this region has lost a lot of players. And this region has always been dominated by Flash Wolves year in and year out, and they lost most of their players, which we'll get into a little bit later. And I think it's time for a new champion, and I think that champion is Mad Team. Uh,
Uh,
Team number two is J Team, and we both have J Team number two. They are similar to Mad. Most people might not know them as they uh, they were kind of a team that sorta was close to Worlds. They were the fourth place team for LMS, so they didn't quite make it. They lost to G-Rex in the semifinals, and that's what G-Rex ended up propelling in moving on to Worlds because of that and going to the wildcard setting. And because of that, J Team has actually kept the whole roster, and they are actually probably a good favorite to keep in because, like I said before, a lot of these teams lost players. Like the LMS, sadly for them, a lot of their players got picked up to like Korea and China. Took a lot of those players as well. So like a lot of the star players of the LMS got taken this year, and the region itself is going to be fairly weak. It's always been considered the weakest of the 5 regions, but it's going to be even weaker this year, which I feel like it's going to start. It's on the border of falling out of being one of the major regions, I think. Uh,
I agree.
yeah, yeah. And G-Rex is number 3, I think. They've lost a few of their players, sadly, and I believe Empty moved over to a coaching position, if I saw that correctly earlier. And they've I really liked Empty, but G-Rex still has PK, and if PK showed at Worlds that he is a beast, he can stay with most top laners, and I personally think he's the best top laner in LMS, and because of that, I think he will be able to solo carry this team, even though they lost Empty, they lost, I believe they lost Candy, their mid laner as well, but
It was Koala, their
Koala,
support,
their
and their
support.
jungler.
hmm
The other jungler.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, because Empty was only the jungler for Worlds. Like he really shined at Worlds, which was awesome. But he wasn't their main jungler the whole time. But they lost a few players, so they're not going to be too great. Is there? I don't expect a repeat. Possibly, like I can still see them going to Worlds, but I don't expect them to go to MSI or win the series. They're still solid enough because other teams have lost players as well, but I think PK can put him on their back in 1v5 as long as Urgot stays. Like he was a beast on Urgot at Worlds, like most
Yeah.
top laners. But as long as Urgot stays relevant, I think G-Rex will be okay. Finally, we have a difference between 4 and 5. I have AHQ at 4, and then Flash was at 5. Brock, you have Flash was at 4 and AHQ at 5. I
I
think
do.
we have kind of a similar thought process here, where Flash Wolves has been anytime you do any prediction with the LMS for the last 3 years, you have Flash Wolves first, Flash Wolves first, Flash Wolves first. Like, that's the easy thing. You just get that out of the way. And sadly, they lost Maple, they lost Sword Art, and they lost Mugen,
They lost MMD. They
MMD.
lost Morning.
Yeah, they lost almost everyone. They only have Hanabi left, I believe. Was that the only starter returning for them? No, and Betty. Sorry,
Yeah.
I even was gonna bring up a little segue about Betty, and I completely forgot about him. That's not good. I don't think Betty is as bad as people make fun of him for. I know he's always considered like, oh, the worst ADC at any of these big tournaments like MSI and Worlds and stuff. I don't think he's that bad. I think he gets insulted and like people don't really give him a shot because he's from an LMS team. But I believe if he's still in the LMS, and I think he's really going to pop off this year because, like I said, almost all the talent is gone from the LMS. I think he's even potential for Spring Split MVP. But I don't think he has a team around him, and it's not an ADC meta at the moment. So that's why I have Flash Wolves as lower. But I do want to say I think Betty, for as much hate as he gets, I think he could be a solid middle of the pack ADC in any of the other regions.
Yeah. I have Flash Wolves ahead of AHQ strictly because I don't know what to think about the constant getting rid of your entire team thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think coaches are involved as well with how well Flash Wolves split went last season.
Yes.
It was really good.
And not just last season, the last like 3 seasons.
Yeah, the last couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's good coaches there. So, with the good coaches bringing in a whole new roster, aside from Betty and,
Hanabi.
And Hanabi. So, I think I have trust in the roster change, but still iffy about it as well. But
Yeah.
That's why I have them above AHQ.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very solid point. I think AHQ also brings a few members. I have AHQ 4 and Flash Wolves 5. I'm just really worried. Sword Art is one of my favorite supports like ever. I love Sword Art, and Maple is also a very solid mid laner. I think that's going to be a very big talent dump from the team that it's going to take a while to synergize with the new players, where AHQ is bringing some of their old players back, or more of their old players back, I should say.
Yeah.
But I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Flash Wolves in the top 3 by the end of the year if they get that synergy back. Play around Betty, play around Hanabi, and maybe one of the new guys. They show up. We've seen it in another region with Damwon now as well. In Korea, they're a bunch of new guys and they're awesome. We also have, for the bottom, I can just round them all together. We have Hong Kong Attitude, Dragon Gate, Alpha Esports. You have Dragon Gate, Hong Kong Attitude, Alpha Esports. Not seeing a lot. Frankly, we don't know too much about the lower leagues of the LMS because all of Dragon Gate and Alpha Esports are all new players coming into the LMS for the most part. Some of them have played on the Challenger Series teams, and frankly, we don't have as much information on the Challenger Series teams of LMS. So they're towards the bottom because they're bigger question mark teams. It doesn't mean they're going to be at the bottom by the end of the year. It's just that they have a bunch of question marks, a bunch of rookies. Again, it's going to be their new organizations with Dragon Gate and Alpha Esports, or they're at least new to the LMS, I should say. They're not. They got promoted up, and I don't see them being able to hang with teams like Mad Team and G Team, or J Team, I should say, and G Rex is why I got confused there. But they could, but I do see them towards the bottom. So with that, we have our preseason picks. I think that's all of them. There's only 8 teams, which is much different than the LPL, which has 16 teams.
Yeah,
so it's a lot less to cover. A lot less to cover. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice.
It's a nice little break in the middle of the week.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That there's so much LPL every day in and out for me right now. It's not bad.
Yeah, because you got a ridiculous amount of teams on the first 2 podcasts, and then you get into our main regions after this one. So it's a nice little break in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And it's always nice to keep up to date because you will see these teams at MSI. You'll see the winner, and you'll also see the teams at MSI from I'm trying to. Oh, not MSI. Sorry, Worlds. You'll see the top 3 teams from this region at Worlds this year. So it's always nice to pay attention and see kind of how they're doing in their own region, and then you can actually see and prep for them. You're like, oh, who's this team? You're like, oh, I know about this team now. Like this whole G-Rex, I know all their players, and this is their style. But anyway, we can move on to the first week predictions. I feel like there's only 6 games a week here, and the first game is J Team versus G-Rex. Am I correct there?
Yep. Game of the week, I would assume.
Let me pull up the schedule again real quick because I have the winners. I have my predictions, but I didn't have the schedule. So I have G-Rex. I was thinking G-Rex until I dug a little deeper and saw that J-Team brought everyone back. Like they have everyone the same. I believe they might have switched jungle. They might have had their backup jungler promoted to real jungler, like their main jungler, but other than that, it's the same team. G-Rex, like we talked about, they've lost a few players. I think this will be a really good game this to start the season, but I have J-Team winning 2-1.
Yeah. Let me reiterate again before we even go through this. When it comes to our picks at the beginning of the podcast, we don't tell each other what our picks are. I don't know how this is going to go, but I already know from game 1 we have the same pick again. So don't think we just tell each other what our picks are just to make it look nice. We actually have no clue what each other.
Yeah, it's actually been hilarious.
Especially this podcast for me, because this is a region I didn't pay much attention to before. So before we do any more podcasts and people think I'm just a dum-dum, I'm getting into this region. So
you're gonna get hardcore into the LMS.
Yeah, so
you're gonna know them inside and out. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Once we find an English broadcast.
Yeah, once we find an English broadcast.
Still haven't found that, which is a little worrying. I'll be doing some research tomorrow after the games. Game number 2, or series number 2 of the week is AHQ versus Mad. Like we said, we both have Mad up top. I think Mad's going to crush this game. They're going to go 2-0. I think Mad is going to be the team to beat this whole... they could be the new Flash Wolves for the next few years, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think this is a very strong team.
There you go.
And coming into this against this team, I think this is going to be one of those freebies.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's AHQ I can see as a middle-of-the-pack team, but I think Mad is going to... Like how Flash Wolves went undefeated last year, I believe, in Summer Split. Was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think Mad could be that next team to just go undefeated and stomp. Kind of like how IG, RNG are expected to be the top of China. I think Mad's going to be top of LMS.
Yep.
Series number 3 on day number 2 is Alpha Esports versus Dragon Gate with the Dragon Gate team. I don't like that team at the end of their name personally. That's just a personal irk. So I even put them as just Dragon Gate here. That sounds so much better. But anyway, I picked Dragon Gate. This is a tough game to pick, like we were talking before. Both brand new teams with new players from the LMS Challenger region, or series. So this is more of a toss-up, really. We'll be able to actually see how both of these teams are going through, and maybe this will give us some insight on if one is better than the other, they're equal, and if they're both equally good or equally bad, because you can definitely tell in their play styles and how their macro game is, I should say.
Yeah. Well, what am I talking about here? I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Dragon Gate versus Alpha?
Yeah, I looked at my notes and went to the bottom when I was supposed to be at the top. Yeah, I have Dragon going over Alpha as well.
I have it 2-1. I think it will be close. I think they're very similar skill levels.
Yeah, I assume it's going to be close, not knowing much about the teams, but looking at the people they have on the team, I believe it's going to be a pretty close game.
Yeah. We have game number or series. Oh, so you have Dragon Gate. Sorry, I did not put your team in. Series number 4. What were you gonna say?
No, I said I forgive you.
Oh, thanks. Series number 4. We have Flash Wolves versus Hong Kong Attitude, and usually I would say easy sweep, Flash Wolves. Let's go next. Flash Wolves takes over. I don't think it'll be as easy, but I still have Flash Wolves winning this 2-1. But I do not believe it'll be as easy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a this game. These are series is going to go one of two ways. It's going to be a nice competitive series that Flash Wolves is going to win, or it's going to be a very ugly series that Flash Wolves is also going to win.
Yeah. And it could actually show what you were saying previously, how the coaches have worked with the new players of Flash Wolves.
Yeah,
Are they gelling together like they
yeah,
have in previous years? And maybe, who knows, maybe Flash Wolves dominates the LMS again for the fifth year in a row or whatever.
they just might.
They might. They might. The Korean Killers.
Yep,
Uh,
true.
game number 5, or series number 5, is J Team versus AHQ. I have J Team winning this one 2-0. I think just like Mad, they are in prime position. Like the crown has essentially is up for grabs. Like the king is dead of Flash Wolves right now, so it's a free for all. And I think Mad and J Team are the two teams primed to steal it.
Yeah, I'm very glad I reiterated the fact that we did not tell each other about our picks. I
Oh,
also have J Team
no
over
way.
A.
We're all the same. If you hadn't seen it, our LPL pod, I can bring it up here. LPL, we only had 2 picks different. Both of them are upset picks. That Brock made an upset pick. I made an upset pick. They both lost. And then, oops, that's the LCS. LCK, we only had 1 pick different. So far, without telling each other any of our picks, we have 3 picks different over the course of 12, 22, 27 series. We have 2 different and 25 the same. That is impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Let's see number 6 though. Mad versus Flash Wolves. I have Mad going 2-0.
Yeah, I also have Mad going 2-0.
Oh my god, that is awesome. So we have, well, we know this one, Brock. Congratulations, we are tied for next week.
Yeah, we're ready.
That's hilarious that we have all the same picks. Wow. Maybe it's gonna be a predictable week. I said that yesterday on the LCK broadcast, and Damwon just destroyed Gen G.
Oh man, that was woof. That was impressive.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm very looking forward to watching some more of them. So anyway, though, that's all of our predictions for Flash Wolves, and like I've said on previous podcasts, we have no highlights to show because there's no games. We have no
Yep.
players to pick because there's no games.
Yep.
So I think we can wrap up now. That's our quickest one to date. That's about 20 minutes.
Yeah, real
So
quick one.
we will see you guys tomorrow for our EU, or not EU, LEK, no, LEC, sorry.
LEC.
The branding is still tough for me. The LEC podcast, where we're going to discuss, and hopefully we have our other co-host, Brian, who only likes to watch EU and NA. So, I mean, I don't blame him. There's a lot of league to watch right now for us. But yeah, hopefully he'll be on and he can give us some predictions and insight on Europe, as well as our predictions and insight. And then we'll be done for the week until we start next week with China, NA, LCK, LMS, and EU, all at 10 p.m. on twitch.tv/KingLinkFan. Look at that segue. All
Yep.
right, twitch.tv/KingLinkFan at 10 p.m. We upload on YouTube to King Linkfan, the YouTube channel, and we also sometimes tweet at Support Esports. Sometimes we will get better at that this
Sometimes.
year. I think we'll be much better at this year, especially with the NA games. It's kind of hard to do the other games because we're not awake. It's 3 and 4 a.m. when they start.
Yep.
But anyway, we can wrap this up now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.